Let's look at another example that illustrates the confusions that you can run into when you try to legislate a single correct use of a term. In the next section of the video, Joe wants to distinguish the fact of evolution from the theory of natural selection. We've seen this before too, but notice the trouble you get into if you define a fact the way that Joe does earlier in the video. First, the phenomenon that he wants to label a fact here is, well, it's unclear. He just says that evolution is a fact. We know that it happens, but he doesn't elaborate on what he means by evolution. If he's just talking about changes in traits or gene frequencies in populations, that's one thing. But the image here suggests that he's talking about changes in species over time, descent with modification, as they say. And more specifically, claims like the one suggested in the image that humans and chimpanzees are evolutionarily descended from a common primate ancestor. Now, it's correct to say that this is treated as a fact by evolutionary biologists. Common ancestry is treated as a fact by evolutionary biologists. But the problem is you can't call these claims facts if you're using the definition that Joe introduced earlier, that facts are observations. You can observe changes in gene frequencies and traits over short time periods, and you can observe fossils and other biological data, but you can't observe evolutionary lineages that span millions of years. Claims about common ancestry are theoretical inferences. They're offered as explanations for a host of observable phenomena, but they are not themselves observable facts. If they're facts, they're theoretical facts. Now, again, the broader point is valid. Natural selection is a theory of the mechanisms that are responsible for evolutionary change. But claims about evolutionary lineages and common ancestry are also theories. And now, as I said, common ancestry, that notion that all living organisms on Earth are descended from a common ancestral species, is also treated as a fact by evolutionary biologists, in the sense that the evidence for it is so strong, within this community at least, that it would be irrational to deny it. And in that sense, it does make sense to say that natural selection is a theory of the mechanisms that are responsible for the facts of evolutionary change, including common ancestry. But this natural reading, this interpretation of the language that scientists commonly use, isn't available to you if you restrict the definition of a fact to what is observable, because claims about lineages and common ancestors are not observation statements. They're theoretical statements.